Why do some people hate unions? My wife hates unions because she is HR and part of her role is as the compliance officer. She says unions make compliance extremely difficult. That is all I know. I am pro-union. If you want to know why unions exist, just get rid of all of them. It won't take long to find out. This is not a chicken or the egg thing. Shitty, abusive management came first. Because some wealthy people spend fortunes to convince other people to oppose their own economic interests. I read this 3 times as onions and was confused because they prevent institutions from getting rid of bad employees. They are limiting and tend to protect the worst workers. The real answer is that they are openly political. If capital is allowed to be organized into corporations, laborers should be allowed to organize into unions. Both benefit from their respective structures. Neither is perfect, but both are necessary to maintain equilibrium. Being required to join a union isn't free, and some people would rather spend what they'd need to pay for union dues on other things. All unions are not created equal. Some, like mine, are pretty decent. Some, like one I was in a decade ago, was complete dogshit. Caramelized unions are amazing. Pros and cons. Look at UPS and the auto workers. No way they get that much without the leverage of the union. On the other hand, when I worked at a union grocery store, we absolutely had deadwood. That should have been fired years back. Also, the union's income is dues from the members. Their biggest focus is getting membership. The company I currently work for is union in some areas and not in others. The non-union places always make a bit more. We know this from the internet and viewing their contracts, etc. But if they came to me, I would vote to unionize, cause if we had a nationwide union, we could do better. As it is, there are several locals with different contracts and they have no desire to unite. Not unlike when I worked at Kroger years back. The folks in charge of the local are not giving up their power or money. Depends if you are in a good or bad union. I was in a bad union. All they wanted was the dues, but they did not stand up for us at all. We got rid of them and replaced them with a good, strong union that doesn't let management run all over us. It sucks when you work in a matrix environment, and some are unionized but most aren't. Trying to get a project done by a tight deadline and need a quick input from a union guy the day before something is due? When the clock hits 5, they are out. No fucks given. The extra minutes are not in their union contract. After going through unionization attempt at my work, I lost a lot of respect for them. The great part of a negotiated contract, you know you raises. The bad part of knowing your contracted raises. Even in high inflation periods, you were stuck to your contract. Then you see a lot of people jump ship for money. Honestly, I saw union as the same as the company. They have goods and bads. Both help you and both look at their own interests first. It's a trade-off. Unions use collective bargaining power to protect its members from predatory labor practices, dispute resolutions, and unfair negotiations. But this disincentivizes stellar employees from overachieving, outperforming fellow coworkers in hopes of upward career advancement, as is more common in non-union professions. But it comes at the cost of politicizing, bureaucratizing the available human resources. This results in workplace disruptions such as pending investigations, ongoing litigations, and strikes lasting weeks or even months, frustrating not only the employees and employers, but consumers as well. Some PPL have been in bad unions. I was a member of CWA years ago. They had horrible, corrupt, self-serving leaders. The workers they represented were their last priority. I didn't have work for 9 months last year because of the actor-writer strike. Other than that, unions are pretty great. Same reason people hate HOA. It's a democratic entity, meaning each member have to take the time and energy to actually vote for their interests. This doesn't always work out ideally, and over time the power will shift to the side where some tryhards devote most of their time completing union-related objectives. Then other members become complacent. But the tryhards don't work for free, or some other parties of interest wants their influence. Slowly but surely, if unchecked, the union becomes corrupt. And people hated corrupt union because they almost always mean suppression by those in power, the opposite of original goal of a union.